probably heard that you should practice slowly countless times before, but it's so important that I had to say it again.
Practice slowly.
While slow isn't always the best, like the time an inexperienced page turner literally turned my pages so slowly that I was already on the third line of the next page by the time he actually got the page turned, it usually has many benefits. And practicing slowly to get better isn't only a thing for musicians. Runners incorporate slow runs to get faster. Lifters lift slowly on certain parts of the movement to get stronger. So we know that slow practice does help, but yet we still don't do it enough or at all. So today I'm going to try to convince you or remind you that you should be doing more slow practice, but truly going slowly, not just one metronome click lower. We already know it's essential to begin a brand new piece very slowly. This helps us master the notes, rhythm, and articulation. If we play too quickly in the beginning stages of learning a piece, it's easy to learn incorrect habits, and those tend to stick around forever and are nasty to correct later on. But what some of us might not know is that slow practice should be a part of our sessions all throughout the life of the piece, not just the beginning. First, let's talk about 4 benefits of slow practice. 1, it's calming. You have time to focus on the music, listen to the sounds you're creating, and attend to your technique. It's great practice for staying centered and focused in the moment. If you're doing slow practice and you feel your mind wandering off, practice bringing it back to what you're doing. The second benefit of slow practice is improved memory. When you play slowly, you have time to think about the form or structure of the piece, the harmonic progressions and musical patterns. And this, of course, allows you to dive deeper into the music. If you want to test your memory on a certain piece, playing it slowly makes everything feel different. Your body feels different, your fingers feel different, and you can't rely as much on your muscle memory because you're playing it so slowly. So this tests what you actually know up here, not just here. The third benefit of slow practice is added control. If we practice our pieces fast all the time, just fast, there comes a point when they start to fall apart. A little scale passage here starts to get uneven, or we miss the drop bass down on this certain part every time. Things just start to get sloppy. When we play quickly, mistakes tend to happen, right? That's normal. But if we never take a step back and play slower with control and accuracy, those mistakes begin to become ingrained in our muscle memory. So rather than a missed note becoming an accident, it just becomes the way you play it. The final benefit of slow practice is that it's easier to leave a session on a positive note. Say you've been working on an incredibly difficult passage that's really still a work in progress. As you close out your intense practice session, it's better to play through that section at a slow, controlled tempo. This is good for your subconscious because the last thing you played was accurate, controlled, and easy. There was no chaos up here. Then your magic brain goes to work as you sleep and rest, and the next day you practice, you'll probably notice a significant improvement. Those were some of the benefits. Now, how and how often should you go about incorporating slow practice? Well, I use it in every single piece, every single time I practice. Sometimes I use it a little, sometimes a lot, but it's always there. Okay, so let's go through a few ideas of how to use slow practice. I use slow practice just kind of sprinkled in. So I don't set aside time and say, okay, for 5 minutes, I'm only going to practice slowly. I might be practicing a section and then notice something's just not quite right about a certain measure. So I'll play just that measure slowly a few times, then return to either a medium or fast tempo, and it'll just kind of go back and forth. You could do a complete slow run through of the entire piece. If you make sure to play it significantly slower, perhaps even half time, this is a great way to test how well you know a piece. You could play with different metronome settings. I especially like using this for practicing at slower tempos, but not too slow, thinking more of a medium pace. This helps me feel calm and in control without being painfully slow. Or try splitting your piece up into small sections and focus on one at a time, using slow practice with repetition. I do this when I'm trying to unlearn wrong notes or rhythms, or when I'm trying to memorize or fix a technical issue. Every pianist at every level should do some sort of slower practicing in their session, but you especially need it if you start to notice your piece actually getting worse and sloppier, or if you have more and more memory slips. These are both signs that you're not in control and you need to take a step back on the tempo, do a little slow repetition work, and get the piece back in your fingers. Anyway, I hope I've been able to convince you or remind you to start using actual slow practice every time you practice. It is the key to maintaining the progress you've made, as well as making significant improvements. With that, have a great next practice session with lots of slow practice.